Today we have the 3D-BLITZ models PC21. Hello, I am Kobey from Hearns Hobbies and welcome to another review, unboxing. Today we have the 3D-BLITZ models PC21. The PC21 is very distinguishable aircraft. It has a long-standing reputation in the Australian Air Force, the RAAF. We use these, if you've ever been to an air show or if you've ever been to Anzac Day, doing any Australian thing, you may see these flying over your head as a part of the roulettes. It is a formation of, I believe, six or seven aircraft that fly a display of the aircraft in formations. They do a lot of formation flyings and aerobatics. Very well-known aircraft amongst Australia. Having said that, it is a Swiss-built aircraft. It has a top speed of 685 kilometers an hour, which is insane for a propeller aircraft. It carries 2 people. It has 2 seats in the aircraft, and it was first flown in 2002, the year that I was born, and it came into service in 2008. So let's have a look into this. The PC21. It replaced the PC9. So both aircraft are made by Pilatus. I hope I said that correctly, but Pilatus over in Sweden. And the PC9 was the first version that we used for our roulettes. And then we've upgraded into the PC21. Both of them are turboprop aircraft. It just has like a sleeker, newer body style, but still very similar aesthetics and shape. Very similar shape. So let's have a good look into this model here. We'll go straight into it. You're going to be getting 4 schemes in the box, I believe. So this is the box art here. It has got a Swiss PC21 in the clouds. There you go. There's a little bit of information down the bottom there. 3D-BLITZ models. I'm not sure where these guys are coming out of. Maybe Germany. It has a BF-110 as the emblem. Mark 72 wings, 1/72 scale. It has 58 parts and is 156 millimeters long. Beautiful. On the back here, we've got a couple of colors that they recommend for building your model. And then there's the schemes that come in the box. I bet you I haven't even focused this top camera, so you're not really going to be able to see. We'll go through this more in depth in the instructions, but they are Swiss aircraft that are represented there. And now let's go in and have a look at this kit. We'll put those aside for the moment. Must read before using decals. This comes in every kit that has Australian decals. They're not the Australian decals. They would be, I believe, in the actual bag themselves. So they've been put in there. That's okay. This is the scheme that you're getting. A5401. It's already out of focus. There we go. A54, so that's the 54th aircraft delivered to Australia, type of aircraft. And then number 1 is the number of that aircraft that's been delivered. So this is the 54th designation of aircraft, and it's the first one that is represented. There's a lot more data on the aircraft that we could not put into this scale decal set due to the small size in the text. So you're getting just a semi-basic representation of this aircraft. Up here, we've got our colors. Obviously red and blue are the primary colors that you'll be using. I believe Mr. Hobby, they do the FS colors in their range. Otherwise you can opt for probably a gloss with these kits, X7 and a blue, like a dark blue, maybe a royal blue. But to me, I think it's X3. And then we've also got titanium, which Tamiya and Mr. Hobby have, and a matte black or a flat black. So that's what is recommended there. If you wanted to have a read through this, pause the video now and you can have a read through that for decal fitment. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to have a look at our instruction sheet. So we've got some dimensions of the aircraft. This should be the scale dimensions, I believe. No, they're real. They've put the real dimensions in millimeters, I believe. Interesting. Anyway, here we have technical data. It weighs 4,250 kilos, has a crew of 2, 685 kilometers an hour, as I said, a service ceiling of 11,500 meters, and a range of 1,300 meters. So this aircraft is designed as a trainer aircraft. We also use them to train up all of our pilots over in Australia before moving on to more specific aircraft, or they can stay with the PC-21 and do roulettes. So let's open up into the sheet. There we go, a little bit of confusion on my end. We have our seats here that we've got be painted grey and black. We have the cockpit tub, the bulkhead. We've also got the instrument panel down here, so we have some nice decals in the original set, which we'll go through soon. We've got more decals for the sides here as well. Control sticks, fuselage halves with the nose gear bays there, and they're asking for, you probably want to put nose weight in this kit. Yep, it says it later on. Guiding horns on the sidewalls of the fuselage. They're saying to be wary of them coming into putting the cockpit in, making sure they're in the right spot, otherwise there won't be a tight, nice fit. We have the dash parts of the aircraft, and then we're moving on over to the wings. We've got the wheel bays being put in there, the wing tips of this aircraft, landing lights, and some more accessories, canopy, tailplane, all put together, the prop, and the nose weight just here, as I was saying before. So they're asking for 12 grams of ballast, and we also have the turboprop exhaust pieces here, and they want to be positioned at an angle, they're saying down here, and the prop will be offset to the right a little bit by 3.5 degrees, countering that torque that it produces. Then we've got our landing gear up here, all the way through, single piece molded gear for the nose. Now that scares a lot of people, but we'll have a look in the parts and you can see just how nice it actually is. Very nice molding. And then they're giving you a little bit of technicals here for how to place them in the right fashion. Finally, these are the schemes you're getting for Switzerland. So we've got a red model as A107. We've got another Swiss aircraft here is HZA, which would probably be private, I believe. And then we've got a silver version down here, which is HZB. So A and B, and then maybe they're test beds for Pilatus, I'm not sure. We can have a look at the decals. We've got our technical data over here, and the cockpit instrument panels as decals for all variants, so you can use those on all of the variants. And then you've got left and you've got a left and a right side to each of the decal sheets here, so that's really nice. Obviously aligning with whichever model you're building, if you were to choose these. And it says down the bottom you can match it up with A107, HZA or HZB for those different schemes there. They look like a very nice register. Try and zoom in a little bit so you can have a quick look. Easily be able to read all of that. The decal film is nice and thin, so being careful when applying those, but also don't want them too thick as they can show up and you have to sand them down a little bit. And then we've got some more of the data over here. So instrument panels looking really, really beautiful there. Very, very nice colors and print quality on those. And also the warning and rescue decals up there. Wonderful. Let's have a look at the parts of this model. And also the Australian decals. Let's have a look into that. Go straight into the Australian decals. I've used these decals recently on a F-18, and I can vouch that they are very, very nice decals. Here we go. This is a 2017 scheme. So here we have got a lot of white data, the black walkways, beautiful red roofs up in the top left-hand corner, and some really nice stencil detail on that. The white circles here, I believe they are backings for the aircraft, especially on that blue color, I believe, because it's so dark. They want you to put that white before you put the Australian roundel, just so that it pops on the white and the red a bit more, because the blue, semi-transparent, you might be able to see through these. You don't want that blue darkening down your roundel. You want them all to be within the same register. Very, very nice there. Stripes, warning parts, rescue, latch, decals. There we go. Australian made and owned decals, supporting Australian businesses. Have the Southern Cross up here. That goes on the very bottom of the aircraft. And then we have got, I believe, some unit decals just there. And if we refer back to over here, probably goes on the tail. I'd be right, it goes on the tail. There you go. Tail section for that one. Number 10, Flying Duck. The Commonwealth, it's like the Commonwealth Games, like fire, not sure. There you go. And then the Southern Cross being on the very bottom of the aircraft there. So it's nice, they've given you the white decals to go on your model instead of having to paint them all. You can choose whether you want to paint them all or not, and you've got the leading edges in black as well. You can make yours that detailed if you like. There you go. Alright, let's have a look at the parts now. I've been looking forward to this one. Just from the brief look I had, it actually looks really, really nice. Limited run kits don't usually like dealing with the plastic that much, but this one looks like no flash at all. Really, really nice sprue gates. Here we go. We'll start off with the canopy. Very, very nice quality for semi-limited production or just like simple brand. Could use with a polishing though once you get it done. As you can see, there's a little bit of flash around here. You can easily scrape that off with a hobby knife. But yeah, register's nice for a starting point, but as soon as you touch that with some Tamiya polishing compound, it'd be really, really nice. Polish it up all the way up. Absolutely reflective. So you're getting 2 sprues in the kit, A and B. We've already gone through all the parts, so you kind of know what to expect. But I was pleasantly surprised with the prop for this one. When I first opened the kit, I thought that is actually really nice molding for the prop. We've got a very basic cockpit tub over here. If I can get it in focus. Panel lines are very nicely recessed, but not overdone. And the shape of the wheel wells and sprue gates they've put on less important areas like the leading edges. There's no sprue gates on there, which is really nice. So cleanup is going to be relatively simple, and if there's any mistakes, it's much easily rectified. That nose wheel that I was talking about, molded in a single piece, quite unique. Probably a little bit more sturdy than if it was molded in a few pieces for 72 scale. Could easily cut out the center bit here, drill those out for a bit of finer detail if it needs it. But the wheel hub and everything looks really nice for the scale. You can definitely paint it up very, very beautifully. Landing gear parts. You can drill out your exhausts for the turboprop. Ejection sidewalls, or the seat sidewalls, just there. Very, very nice. Instrument panels over here, very, very basic. I recommend scraping off those the ejection marks there, as they're probably, actually they may have done something cheeky here. They might have designed those specifically for the, what's it called? The face. In this scale, I'd recommend just sanding them off anyway. Yeah, they're too big. The other ones are much smaller. Could get away without doing it, but yeah, I'd definitely recommend at least removing those bottom ones and the faces on these and on these as well. Definitely not needed. Now they've molded them properly. Maybe you don't need to on this one. You don't need to on these ones maybe. They've done the seats properly. They've molded them on the rear where you're not going to see them. In there, you have a couple in the wheelbase. Unfortunate, but not a hard fix. Alright, I'm going to put this screw down and look at the other one. We've got the nose piece. We've got the wheels here. Very, very nice. Simple. This is 72 scale, so you can't judge too hardly. Wheelbase, landing gear doors, tips of the wing. Oh no, they're for the flaps. These ones are molded onto the leading edges, so being careful not to score into the plastic there. Landing gear bay doors and the fuselage. Very, very nice. There we go. We'll zoom out and do a little bit of outline, an outlay of all the parts and everything you're going to be getting in this. There we go. That is pretty much your whole kit there in 72 scale. So, wonderful little kit. I actually quite like the look of this. There's no other models in this scale of this aircraft. I believe not even vac form. Not that I've seen at least. There's probably opportunity for resin print in this, a lot in the cockpit and the wheelbase if you wanted to go all out. But it creates and gives you a really great base to go off of if you're going to super detail this kit. Or if you're just looking for a fun week project over a holiday and you've seen the roulettes, this is not a bad kit to get. It doesn't have photo etch or resin in the kit, so those are more intermediate to advanced types of kits, having those. So out of the box, you could have a pretty fun time building this kit, and I'd recommend it. I'd recommend this kit just out of sheer, there's not many models of this kit around, and it is quite unique, and it has to do with Australia. So there you go. This has been the PC-21 by 3D-BLITZ models with RAAF decals for the roulettes. I am Kobey from Hearns Hobbies, and we look forward to seeing you in store or in the next video. Cheers guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.